what is a Lumina?
Abilities you internalize by using a Pictos in battle after enough times.
Well done, well done.
Not really. I mean, I created the Lumina converter, so...
Alright everybody, hope that one was informative. Please subscribe to Wandering Bard Gaming for more super informative analysis content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good... Wait, what? Wrong game? Oh, I'm supposed to do that, Lumina? Oh, okay, got it. Alright. Alright everyone, Wandering Bard here with the correct Lumina this time, and before I start, I just want to clear the air. Last year, I made a video called the Final Fantasy XIII characters I couldn't analyze, and I specifically asked you all, hey, if there's a character that I missed that you want to see me analyze, please let me know, and a few people said Lumina. So I've been promising this video for months and months and months, and I've kept delaying it because of footage problems, and then because of work stuff, and then both, and I just want to say both sorry for this taking so long, and a really huge thank you to all of you for being so patient with me and so supportive of the content that I make. I really appreciate it. I'm also really grateful to the people who requested that I analyze Lumina, because I hadn't thought to at first, because I did touch on her briefly in my Lightning video, but the more I've thought about it, especially since playing through Lightning Returns again, the more I realize there is more to tell with her, and honestly, analyzing Lumina has helped me understand Lightning a bit better too. So we're going to dive into all of that in this video, and I really hope you enjoy it.
Once upon a time, I committed a terrible sin. It happened long ago, in a past that I cannot change. I was fighting a war that never ended. I thought I was saving the world, and I needed help.
So background on Lumina, at the end of Final Fantasy XIII 2, Sarah dies, and we find out that her sister Lightning has turned to Crystal. In Lightning's DLC episode, we learned that she turned to Crystal to serve as a kind of epitaph/vessel for Sarah's soul, hoping one day they could be together again. So for about 500 years, Lightning kept Sarah with her in Crystal until Brunavelza awoke her to be the Savior. He cut Sarah's soul out of Lightning, which, by the way, I want to ask about because something is weird there. The entire throughline of Lightning Returns is that Brunavelza can't see into human hearts, or souls. They're kind of used interchangeably, at least in the English version of the game. He can create and shape any material thing, even build a whole new world, but what's in a person's heart has no form. He can't see into hearts or mold them, but he's able to cut Sarah's soul out of Lightning? I'm not really sure how that works. I know that heart and soul are more distinct from each other in the Japanese version, so maybe that's where it comes from. I don't really know though, so please let me know if you do. This doesn't ruin the story for me or anything, I'm just curious about it. Anyway, when Brunavelza cuts Sarah out of Lightning, her own soul is damaged in the process. Lightning's soul is already somewhat damaged in that ever since her parents died, she has been suppressing parts of herself that she feels make her weak. So when Brunavelza did his work, that suppressed, fragmented part of Lightning was cut away, leaving her cold and emotionless, while simultaneously creating Lumina. Lumina is the unhealed part of Lightning's soul, given form by the chaos. And she continues to do what Lightning did while she was in Crystal, which is to keep Sarah's soul safe within her. Now, there is one possible point of confusion about Lumina that I do see, which comes in when Lightning learns about all of this. Her exact words when she finds out are...
You're me. Young. Weak.
This line gives the impression that Lumina's personality is one-to-one with how Lightning was when she was a child, and I don't believe that's accurate. Lumina may have been born from Lightning's heart, but she's also a manifestation of chaos, and there's a strong influence on her character that comes from the chaos. I will say I don't think there's really any influence from Sarah herself on Lumina. She does show her vulnerable side later in the story, but I would argue this more so comes from Lightning and Lightning's feelings towards Sarah, rather than Sarah herself, as we'll see in a bit. So how much of Lumina comes from the chaos, and how much of her comes from Lightning?
What the? Who are you? And what are you doing here? If you're playing around in the middle of this chaos, I'm guessing you're not human.
The chaotic component of Lumina's character becomes apparent pretty quickly. For one thing, there's a sense of malice from Lumina, especially during her scenes in Yusnan, which are the main reasons why I don't read her actions as being one-to-one with Child Lightning. Like, yes, there are children who have that level of malice, but Lightning doesn't strike me as the type. For another thing, a lot of Lumina's behavior seems to be self-contradictory. She gives Lightning supplies for her duties as a savior, Then at the same time she summons monsters from the chaos to try and kill her. She says she's glad Lightning and Noel didn't kill each other, yet she was the one who showed Noel the Oracle Drive recording which predicted that he would kill Lightning. She stops Lightning from killing Snow, or rather stops Snow from killing himself through her when they first meet, but then she tells Lightning to finish Snow off later when he becomes a Seath, claiming she doesn't truly understand him or understand what Sarah would have wanted. On the topic of Sarah, she laughs at Lightning when she reveals the nature of the Soul Song, claiming she looks forward to seeing all the souls of the dead, including Sarah, be destroyed. And this one in particular interests me for a few reasons. For one thing, I don't think the Soul Song would actually work on Sarah. The Soul Song gathers the souls that are trapped in the chaos and destroys them, but Sarah's soul isn't in the chaos, it's being kept safe with Lumina, which she herself is well aware of. Lightning does not know that, but Lumina's whole deal is I have to keep Sarah safe. So Lumina is lying here. Either she's lying about the Soul Song being able to destroy Sarah, or the Soul Song can destroy Sarah and she's lying about looking forward to it. But either way she's lying, and she's very clearly doing so to taunt Lightning. But why? The only reason I can think of is that she's goading Lightning into stopping the Soul Song, an act that will not only save the dead, but Vanille and Fang as well. So now let's consider her other actions in that light and whether there's a pattern. Her summoning monsters doesn't seem very helpful at first, until you remember that whenever Lightning slays a monster born from the Chaos Infusion, the infusion in question will dissipate. This happens a lot during the game. And there are exactly 2 occasions where Lumina summons monsters to attack Lightning, and both of them are at massive Chaos Infusions in Yusnon, which would have caused havoc if left unchecked. So maybe that could be her angle. And all the other things I talked about, taunting her about the Soul Song, showing Noel the Oracle Drive, grilling Lightning about whether she understands Snow's pain, she's basically setting up situations where Lightning will have to confront and save the souls of her friends. The only one she doesn't have a hand in is Caius because Lightning doesn't really want to save Caius. That all came from Yule. But Lumina is, in her own chaotic way, trying to help Lightning reconnect with her friends, and to dig deeper into her own soul in the process.
Fine, Lightning. Let me make it all clear. Look around you and see the lies. The Sarah you talked to is a lie. Hope in his arc is a lie. How long is it going to take before you wake up? Before you realize that maybe, just maybe, you're a lie too.
The only times when Lumina is clear about her intentions is when she and Lightning are alone in Lightning's own heart. In that space, nobody is watching, not even Bruna Velza, and yet Lightning still keeps a lot hidden. And while I understand why, I mean Lumina isn't somebody I'd open up to either, the problem isn't that Lightning's not opening up to Lumina. The problem is she's not being honest with herself. And Lumina is right. If you can't be honest to yourself within yourself, then where can you? So Lumina uses this space to reveal things to Lightning, things she doesn't want Hope/Bruna Velza to know that she knows, for example, but a lot of that time is spent probing and pushing Lightning, nudging her in the right direction to understand what she's missing. And on one particular occasion, she brings shadows of Lightning's friends to her view, telling her that they want to help her, but they can't reach her. So again, she clearly wants Lightning to connect, but where did that intent come from? I didn't really have an answer for a while, until playing the game again when I saw one of the loading screens. For those of you who don't know, the loading screens in this game are all related to the area that you're warping to, usually an ongoing quest or the most recently completed one. Some of them are just Lightning reminiscing about events from previous games or hoping for the future, but this one ties back to her distant past, to the main memory she holds onto from when she was a child resting in her mother's arms. I didn't really think of this until I saw this loading screen, but I don't think Lightning has felt truly safe since her parents were alive. And there's a difference between constantly feeling afraid versus constantly feeling unsafe. Fear isn't something we generally associate with Lightning, except when it comes to Sarah and the possibility of losing her. In fact, fear is one of the things that she consciously rejects for herself. She has worked and trained and developed this whole Lightning persona in order to not have to be afraid. But that doesn't mean that she's safe, it just means she knows how to handle unsafe situations. But the possibility of more pain and more loss is always with her, and that's why she assumes the worst immediately when she sees Sarah turn to Crystal in Game 1. It's why her guard is constantly up, why she can't let anybody else inside. And this ties back to what I said in the Lightning video. At the end of Game 1, she has grown so much thanks to her time as a Lassie, but she still feels the pressure to be strong for the people around her, especially for Sarah. What I didn't really realize until recently is how much she doesn't want to have to be strong. I think Lightning actually does want to feel safe again, to have someone be strong for her too, but in her mind, even wanting that is dangerous. Because opening up and letting the walls down means more to lose and more chances to be hurt. So going back to Lumina and her constantly pushing for Lightning to open up more, to understand others, to connect, the way she does that is chaotic and seemingly contradictory, but the intent and the desire very much come from Lightning, from that part of her soul that's still a scared little girl who lost her parents. And for Lightning to heal herself, she has to accept that that's a part of her, and that that's not a bad thing. And that's basically her arc in Lightning Returns. And this ties back into something that's very personal for my life, and I'm recording my face cam for this part because for the life of me, I can't think of what footage would go here. My life, thankfully, hasn't been as tragic as Lightning's has, but I've had experiences that completely changed my emotional outlook and my sense of self, and I struggled with my self-worth for a really long time. And in some ways, I still do. But one thing that's been really helpful for me coming out of that place is being able to take the best parts of myself from both before and after those experiences happened and kind of shape them and fit them into something new, something even better. What Lightning is doing here is the fantastical cinematic shorthand of that, where Lumina is the unhealed part of Lightning's soul from before her parents died, Lightning is the tough persona she made to deal with that, and Claire Farron is the version of her that she can create when she takes the best parts of both and fits them into something new. And that brings me to the person who originally commented asking for a Lumina analysis commented that they wish that Lumina could have gotten to exist in the new world, separate from Lightning, kind of like how Sora and Roxas end up in Kingdom Hearts, which I am somewhat familiar with. The reason why I don't necessarily agree with that take is that in Sora and Roxas' case, Roxas didn't know who Sora was in the beginning, and he became his own person with his own desires separate from Sora, as I understand it. Meanwhile, I think Lumina actually did know from the beginning what her existence was and what her relation to Lightning was. And while she is still her own person, her desire always was for Lightning to become whole again. And so I think the ending that we do get when she becomes part of Lightning is her desire being fulfilled, and that's why I don't mind it personally. I do think you get some interesting comedy of chaotic, slightly vicious Lumina trying to adapt to a new world, but I do appreciate Lumina's character for what it is. I appreciate her role in Lightning's arc, and I appreciate you all who pushed me to make this video. I think I understand both Lumina and Lightning better for it, and I'm really grateful for that. I hope that y'all got something out of this video too, and if you did, please consider hitting the like button, and of course subscribe if you want to see more content like this. There is still more for me to say where Lightning Returns is concerned, and I'd hate for you guys to miss out on that. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time.